When someone walks away from you, especially someone you cared about, your first instinct might be to chase, explain, or defend yourself. But in Stoic philosophy, silence can be far more powerful than words. In this video, we'll explore why staying quiet after she leaves can shift the balance, protect your dignity, and even change the way she sees you. This isn't about playing games, it's about self-control, strength, and understanding the power of absence. Let's dive in. In Stoicism, strength is not about loud words or quick reactions. It's about mastering yourself when emotions are high. Silence is not weakness. It's proof that you control your emotions instead of letting them control you. When you stay silent after she leaves, you send a powerful message. You are steady, independent, and not seeking validation from anyone's approval or attention. Lessons from Silence Shows Strength. Control is power. Mastering your emotions shows you're in charge of yourself, not your impulses. Silence commands. Respect. People respect those who don't react out of anger or desperation. You avoid self-sabotage. Emotional words can burn bridges. Silence keeps doors open. It protects your peace. Quiet keeps you from being pulled into unnecessary conflict. You communicate confidence. You show that your value isn't determined by someone else's presence. It turns attention back to you. Without your reaction, curiosity grows about your mindset. You align with Stoic discipline. Stoicism values restraint and calm over emotional outbursts. It builds patience. Waiting before speaking allows wisdom to guide your response. You break the cycle of drama. Silence removes the fuel that keeps arguments alive. It shows emotional independence. You prove that your happiness doesn't depend on another person's choices. When emotions are raw, words can become weapons, hurting not only others but also your own image. Stoicism teaches that dignity is one of the greatest treasures a person can guard. By choosing silence instead of an emotional outburst, you protect your self-respect and show that your worth isn't up for negotiation. True strength is measured in how you carry yourself when it's hardest to stay composed. Lessons from You Protect Your Dignity. Your image is your legacy. People remember how you handled the worst moments more than the best ones. Silence is a shield. It stops you from saying things you can't take back. Dignity attracts respect. The more you respect yourself, the more others respect you. Emotional outbursts damage credibility. Losing control can make you seem unstable or weak. You avoid public embarrassment. Silence prevents others from witnessing your lowest emotional point. It keeps you in control of the story. When you don't react, others can't twist your words. You show maturity. The ability to stay calm proves emotional growth. Dignity builds. Long-term power. People trust those who handle conflict with grace. You align with Stoic honor. In Stoic philosophy, honor is preserved by self-restraint. You walk away with pride. Even if you lose the person, you keep your self-worth intact. In life, constant presence can make people take you for granted. Stoicism reminds us that sometimes the most powerful statement is made by stepping back. When you remove your attention, it disrupts the pattern they've grown used to suddenly. Your absence speaks louder than your words ever could. People often only begin to value what they've lost when it's no longer easily available. Lessons from Absence Creates Curiosity. Scarcity increases value. When something is rare, people appreciate it more. You break the familiar routine. Changing the pattern forces them to notice your absence. Silence becomes a mystery. People naturally wonder why you're not reacting or reaching out. It shifts the power dynamic. The focus moves from you chasing to them questioning. You avoid overexposure. Too much presence can make you seem predictable or less special. It triggers reflection in others. They may begin to think about what they had with you. Absence builds. Emotional impact. Memories grow stronger in your absence, not your constant presence. It gives you time to improve. While they wonder, you can focus on becoming even better. Curiosity can lead to reconnection. People often return to figure out the change in you. You follow stoic detachment. You show that you can step back without fear of losing yourself. After a breakup, emotions run high, and every word can become fuel for more conflict. Stoicism teaches that wisdom often lies in knowing when not to engage. Silence is like removing oxygen from a fire. It stops the flames from growing. By refusing to feed the drama, you protect your peace and prevent the endless emotional back and forth that rarely leads to resolution. Lessons from you avoid feeding drama. Silence breaks the cycle. Without your response, the conflict has nowhere to go. You save emotional energy. Arguing drains you mentally and physically. You maintain peace of mind. No fight can grow without active participation. Drama thrives on reaction. Without a reaction, it dies out quickly. You show emotional maturity. Choosing calm over chaos signals strength. You protect your reputation. Staying out of conflict keeps you respected by others. You avoid saying regretful things. Heated moments can lead to words you can't take back. Silence prevents escalation. Disagreements don't grow into bigger problems. You keep control over your actions. You're not letting emotions dictate your behavior. You practice stoic restraint. The stoic path values peace over pointless battles. Silence starves the conflict. Drama can only exist if both sides participate. Without you, it fades. You preserve your emotional strength. Constant arguing exhausts your mind and heart. It shows you're above petty fights. People admire those who don't get dragged into pointless battles. You stop the chain reaction. Every response invites another counter-response. Silence ends the chain. You avoid creating more hurt. Emotional words can deepen wounds instead of healing them. You keep the focus on the truth. By not engaging, you avoid twisting facts or misinterpreting intentions. Drama seeks an audience. When you stay quiet, you remove the stage and the spotlight. You win by not playing. Some battles are best won by not entering them at all. You keep your inner world untouched. Stoics believe peace comes from within, not from proving yourself in arguments. You allow time to heal. Space and silence give emotions a chance to cool down. It sends a powerful message. Your silence says, I value my peace more than proving my point. You practice self-mastery. Resisting the urge to respond is an exercise in discipline and control. In the heat of a breakup, emotions cloud judgment and turn small problems into overwhelming ones. Stoicism teaches that clarity comes when we step back from the noise. By creating distance, both physical and emotional, you give yourself the chance to breathe, reflect, and see the situation for what it truly is. Instead of reacting on impulse, you begin to respond with wisdom. That is where your real power lies. Lessons from you regain emotional control. Space brings perspective. Distance helps you see the bigger picture instead of just the pain. You avoid rash decisions. Time allows emotions to cool before you act. You think before you speak. Silence and space encourage thoughtful responses over impulsive ones. You break emotional dependency. Stepping back teaches you to rely on your own stability. You process feelings in peace. Without constant contact, you can work through emotions without pressure. You reduce regret. Acting with a calm mind means fewer mistakes to look back on. You see reality more clearly. Distance removes the fog of emotional bias. You strengthen self-control. The discipline of waiting trains your emotional resilience. You reconnect with yourself. Space allows you to focus on your own needs and values. Space brings clarity. Distance lets you see events without the blur of heightened emotion. You stop the emotional spiral. Breaking contact interrupts the cycle of anger, sadness, and overthinking. You give yourself time to heal. Healing requires space away from triggers. You avoid saying things you can't take back. Calm minds speak wisely. Heated minds speak recklessly. It shifts you from reaction to response. You start acting with intention rather than emotion. Distance weakens. Emotional dependency. Without constant contact, you learn to stand on your own. It restores self-respect. You feel proud of yourself for not losing control. It creates mental breathing room. Space helps you process what happened without constant pressure. You strengthen inner discipline. The act of not reacting instantly is a training in self-mastery. You begin to think strategically. With emotions in check, you can choose the best course forward. You avoid being manipulated. Calm. People are harder to provoke or control. You follow a core Stoic principle. Marcus Aurelius taught that the mind should rule, not be ruled by, emotions. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is simple yet life-changing. Focus only on what you can control and accept what you cannot. When someone leaves, that choice is theirs. It belongs to their will, not yours. By practicing detachment, you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and instead channel your energy into what's within your power, your mindset, your actions, and your response. This isn't coldness, it's emotional freedom. Lessons from it aligns with Stoic detachment. Control the controllable. You can't decide for her, but you can decide for yourself. Acceptance brings peace. Fighting reality only creates more pain. You avoid wasting energy. Detachment stops you from chasing things beyond your reach. You protect your inner stability. What happens outside shouldn't disturb your inner calm. It breaks the chains of attachment. Emotional dependence fades when you focus on your own power. You stop overthinking. Why? Detachment removes the need to constantly analyze her decision. It builds mental resilience. You become stronger when you let go of what you can't keep. It frees you from fear of loss. When you accept loss as part of life, it no longer controls you. You align with nature's flow. Stoicism teaches to move with life's changes, not against them. Detachment is not indifference. You can care, but without letting it destroy your peace. You accept reality instead of fighting it. Resistance to truth creates suffering. Acceptance brings relief. You conserve emotional energy. You stop pouring strength into changing what cannot be changed. You guard your inner calm. Outside events can't disturb a mind that refuses to give them control. You release the illusion of control. Understanding that you can't control her choices brings clarity. You break free from emotional chains. Attachment turns into suffering when you cling. Detachment frees you. You focus on your own actions. Instead of obsessing over her, you invest in what you can improve. You stop replaying the past. Detachment prevents endless mental loops of what if and why. You reduce fear of loss. Once you accept loss as part of life, you stop living in fear of it. You live in harmony with nature. Stoics teach that change is part of life's natural rhythm. You grow stronger in character. Letting go with grace builds dignity and self-respect. You avoid emotional manipulation. Detachment makes you unshakable to others' attempts to provoke you. You align with Stoic masters. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. In Stoicism, attraction isn't about charm, looks, or clever words. It's about the energy you carry. When you hold your ground with independence and self-respect, you radiate something far more powerful than desperation. Chasing someone after they've left often has the opposite effect. It lowers your value in their eyes. But when you step back, focus on yourself, and carry yourself with dignity, people naturally become curious. And often they're drawn back to you. Lessons from you become more attractive. Independence signals. Confidence. People are drawn to those who don't need constant validation. Self-respect is magnetic. The way you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. Chasing creates repulsion. Begging or pleading sends a message of weakness, not love. Silence sparks. Curiosity. Not being readily available makes others wonder what you're up to. You shift the power dynamic. By stepping back, you change from pursuer to someone of value. Growth increases attraction. Time spent improving yourself makes you more appealing, even from a distance. You show you're whole without them. People admire those who can stand alone and still thrive. Scarcity boosts value. Just like rare things are prized, a rare calmness and self-control stand out. It invites respect over pity. Strength makes others see you as an equal, not as someone to feel sorry for. You tap into natural human psychology. We want what we can't easily have. Independence amplifies this effect. It aligns with Stoic virtue. True attractiveness in Stoicism comes from character, not from approval seeking. You attract without chasing. People feel safer and more interested when they are free to come to you. Confidence is irresistible. Inner assurance pulls people in without you having to try. Independence creates mystery. When you're not always available, people naturally wonder about you. Self-respect commands. Respect. How you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. Neediness repels. Chasing signals fear of loss, while calmness signals security. Your energy changes. Independence shifts your presence from desperate to desirable. Silence builds curiosity. People start to wonder what you're doing and why you're not chasing. Improvement is attractive. When you focus on growth, physically, mentally, emotionally, you become a better version of yourself. Scarcity creates value. Just like rare things are valued more, your time and attention gain worth when not freely given. You inspire. Rather than convince, your actions make a stronger case than any words could. Strength over sympathy. People are drawn to strength, not to those who seek pity. You become the prize. The dynamic changes when you show you are worth pursuing. It's rooted in Stoic virtue. True attractiveness comes from self-discipline, wisdom, and inner strength, not from needing to be chosen. You let them come to you. Real attraction works best when it's voluntary, not forced. Your value stands alone. Whether they return or not, you remain whole and valuable in yourself. In Stoicism, the end of a relationship is not the end of your life. It's the beginning of a new chapter. Silence isn't just about withholding words. It's about redirecting your energy. Instead of chasing someone who's gone, you invest that time into building yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Every day spent on self-improvement increases your strength, your value, and your peace of mind. This is how you turn loss into opportunity. Lessons from you focus on your own growth. Silence creates time for you. Without constant communication, you have space to focus on personal goals. You build new skills. Learn something new that adds value to your life and future. Physical health improves. Channel emotions into fitness, which also boosts confidence. Mental strength grows. Reading, learning, and reflection make your mind sharper. You strengthen emotional resilience. Facing loss while improving yourself builds toughness. Your life gains direction. Setting new goals gives you a renewed sense of purpose. Self-reflection brings clarity. Looking inward helps you understand past mistakes and avoid them in the future. You build independence. Growth makes you less reliant on others for happiness. You become a better version of yourself. Time spent on growth ensures you're stronger than before. You attract better opportunities. A focused, driven person naturally draws better people and situations. You align with Stoic philosophy. Stoicism values continuous self-development, regardless of external events. You turn pain into power. Instead of being broken by loss, you use it as fuel for transformation. You reclaim your time. Time once spent on her is now invested in your own progress. You strengthen your body. Training and physical health boost confidence and discipline. You elevate your mind. Reading, learning, and critical thinking sharpen your intellect. You master emotional control. Facing loss without collapsing builds emotional stability. Your goals become your anchor. Purpose replaces dependency, giving life clearer direction. You improve your social value. Skills, achievements, and confidence make you more respected. Self-reflection turns pain into wisdom. You gain insights that prevent repeating past mistakes. You cultivate independence. Growth makes your happiness self-sustaining. Your future becomes richer. What you build now benefits you for years to come. You attract higher quality relationships. People are drawn to strength, ambition, and self-respect. You embody Stoic virtue. Continuous self-improvement reflects courage, wisdom, and temperance. You transform loss into power. Instead of being defined by what you lost, you're defined by what you became. You gain inner fulfillment. True satisfaction comes from personal progress, not external approval. You live by the Stoic ideal. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. In the heat of emotions, words rarely land exactly as we intend. Stoicism teaches that once something leaves your mouth, it's no longer under your control. It can be misunderstood, exaggerated, or twisted. By choosing silence, you remove the possibility of your message being distorted. You communicate not through explanations or defenses, but through your composure. And in doing so, you protect your truth from being shaped by someone else's narrative. Lessons from It Prevents Misinterpretation. Words lose control. Once spoken, you can't dictate how someone hears or repeats what you say. Silence removes ammunition. Without your words, there's nothing to twist against you. You avoid fueling false narratives. Arguments often give the other person more material to use. Calmness speaks for you. Your behavior shows strength without needing verbal defense. You eliminate over-explanation. Explaining too much can weaken your position. You stay out of gossip and rumors. No words mean no material for others to spread. You keep the power in your hands. Silence means you decide when and how you speak, if at all. You protect your reputation. Nothing you say in anger can come back to haunt you. You force others to rely on facts. Without words to distort, only actions remain. You follow Stoic precision. Speaking less and with purpose is a key Stoic habit. You maintain emotional neutrality. Without heated words, you appear calm and in control. You avoid regret. If you never say it, you'll never wish you could take it back. You control the narrative by withholding words. No one can change a story you haven't told. Silence forces others to confront reality. Without your words to twist, they must face the truth of their own actions. You avoid being pulled into mind games. Many arguments after breakups are emotional traps. Your message becomes your behavior. Actions leave less room for false interpretation than speech. It discourages emotional provocation. People often try to get a reaction. Silence denies them that satisfaction. It shows emotional mastery. Speaking impulsively shows loss of control. Silence shows composure. You avoid unnecessary complexity. The more you talk, the more angles there are to twist. Silence becomes a shield, protecting yourself from misquotes, half-truths, and gossip. You signal strength without defensiveness. Defending yourself too much can look like insecurity. You remove the stage for drama. Drama thrives on words. Starve it by refusing to perform. You maintain clarity for yourself. Without constant back and forth, you keep a clear mind. It keeps the focus on facts, not emotions. Emotions fade, but facts remain. Silence lets them stand. It builds mystery and respect. People can't figure you out if you don't explain every move. It reflects Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it." You avoid words. you might regret, silence never needs to be taken back. True acceptance is not passive surrender, it's active alignment with reality. In Stoic philosophy, peace comes when you stop resisting what is and let go of the illusion that you can, or should, control everything. When she leaves, acceptance means you don't waste energy wishing it were different, replaying what ifs, or clinging to false hope. You recognize the situation exactly as it is, and from that point of clarity, you can move forward without bitterness or denial. Lessons from it demonstrates true acceptance. You stop fighting what's already happened. Resistance only deepens suffering. You gain emotional freedom. Accepting reality releases the mental chains of should have and could have. It ends the cycle of self-torment. Constantly revisiting the breakup keeps the wound open. You align with nature's flow. As Stoics taught, life changes are part of the natural order. It frees energy for what you can control. Your time and focus shift to personal growth. Acceptance is strength, not weakness. It takes courage to face the truth without flinching. You avoid destructive denial. Denial delays healing. Acceptance begins it. It builds resilience for future challenges. The more you practice acceptance, the less life can shake you. You maintain inner stability. Even if circumstances are chaotic, your mind remains grounded. It removes the power of external events. You can't be broken by what you've already embraced. You cultivate wisdom through perspective. Seeing events as part of a bigger picture reduces pain. You let go of the illusion of control. The less you try to control the uncontrollable, the freer you feel. It sets you up for healthy detachment. Emotional distance comes naturally when you accept reality. You find peace sooner. Acceptance speeds up emotional recovery. It reflects Stoic mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Love only what happens to you and is spun for you by nature." It shows emotional maturity. Acceptance proves you can handle life without tantrums or desperation. You honor the other person's freedom. Stoics respected the autonomy of others even when it hurt. It protects your dignity. Begging or chasing after rejection chips away at self-respect. Acceptance preserves it. You avoid making the situation worse. Reacting in anger or desperation often deepens the damage. It keeps you rooted in the present. Acceptance pulls you out of what was and grounds you in what is. You show strength without words. People notice when you carry loss with quiet resilience. It breaks attachment to unrealistic outcomes. Acceptance frees you from obsessing over a future that was never certain. You stop negotiating with reality. No more mental bargaining like, if I do this, maybe she'll return. It opens the door to gratitude. Once you accept, you can be thankful for the good parts without clinging to them. You become unshakable. If you can accept deep emotional pain, lesser challenges no longer intimidate you. It's a victory over ego. Your pride may scream to win her back, but acceptance silences ego in favor of wisdom. You learn that peace is an internal decision. Circumstances don't dictate peace. Your mind does. It makes room for new opportunities. By letting go of the past, you create space for a better future. You embrace life's impermanence. Everything changes. Accepting this makes you flexible, not fragile. It's the first step toward true healing. Without acceptance, no amount of advice, books, or time will help. Conclusion. In the end, silence is not weakness. It is power. It is the space where self-control, clarity, and dignity live. You focus on your own growth, avoid the traps of misinterpretation, and embody true acceptance of reality as it is. This is how the Stoic turns pain into strength, not by denying emotion, but by mastering it. Remember, you cannot control who stays or who leaves, but you can always control how you respond. When you meet heartbreak with calm resolve, you tell the world, and yourself, that your peace is not for sale. And in that moment, you rise above the noise, above the chaos, and step fully into the kind of strength that no one can take away.